Have you considered my servant Job? These are the words that God says when Satan comes and is roaming all about looking for somebody he can accuse. Have you considered my servant Job, the one who is an amazing man, the one who would not curse me because of the calamities that have come upon him? Have you considered my servant Job? Many of you, if you read the Bible, you might think the word is Job or the book is Job, but it's Job. And Job was a man who lived in biblical times, and he had many sons and daughters. And Job lived a life unto God, honoring him in every single way. And this is before Christ had come. And so it's not like how we have it today with Holy Spirit and all these other beautiful, amazing tools of God. Like, he really had to live just waiting on God, waiting on the voice, waiting on all of that. They didn't have necessarily like all the stories that we do that we can look back on and use it to build us for encouragement. Have you considered my servant Job? And honestly, when my son passed, I started calling myself the female Job. And it wasn't just because my son passed, but then within 2 weeks, I had to pack up my house and leave. I was at a friend's house. I had lost my finances at the time because I was on welfare taking care of my child. And there was a glitch in the system. And they had removed me from being a family unit to a single unit all within a span of 2 weeks. It did not make sense. Have you considered my servant Cola, is what it felt like. Have you considered how in all the ways she just got saved, and I know life is coming to break her, but have you considered the fact that she will still stand no matter what is thrown at her? They say that God gives his best battles to his strongest soldiers, and honestly, in this moment, I was like, God, how much more do you want me to take? Because life had taken everything. Life had honestly taken my identity, had taken my child, it had taken my home. It had taken everything that I knew. It had shaken me to the ground. It had ripped the carpet from beneath me, had me thrown to the asphalt, and expected me to just jump up and say, ha, I made it. I wasn't doing that. That wasn't in the plans for me. Have you considered my servant Cola? No, Lord. As much as I love you, I did not want to walk through this season because I wasn't sure when the season would end. I knew that at the end of it, God would be there. I knew that if I just held on and didn't make some of the same mistakes that people in the Bible made, I would see the glory of God. But nobody tells you about the process of getting through all this. Have you considered my servant Cola? By the time I was 25 and my son had died, it had been the tipping of the iceberg for everything I felt inside. Between the assaults and the molestations and the devastations and the disgracement, and yes, I graduated, but nobody really cared, and it was just a lot. And when I say nobody really cared, yes, my parents cared. Yes, I cared. Yes, we celebrated, right? But in the same way, for some strange reason, I thought that by me getting my university degree, being the fourth youngest child of this generation, that all those that came before me who didn't get the degrees, all those who were behind me who would get to go to school, all those who bullied me and mocked me would say, wow, you know, she made it through. She had a child young, but look at her now. Crickets. There was no party. There was no celebration. There was barely even a congratulations. And my thought of, wow, I'm really going to see another side of my family. They're really going to be proud of me now. That faded. And I had to be happy for myself and clap at the fact that I had made it out of a stereotypical life. I graduated in the same time as those who had no kids, and I took care of my son the entire time. I came back from being kicked out of the honors program to graduate with honors in my fine arts degree. I showed up. And now I was still staring life in the face again, and it had said, hey, we are taking everything from you. And I had to reconcile within myself what this really meant and where I was going. I mean, we could only go up from here, right? You would think. But where was up when I didn't even know a way forward? Have you considered my servant Cola? The one who is so optimistic, the one who has hope, the one who believes in her Father no matter what has come her way, the one who knows that the Christ that she tried to make a deal with and exchange her life with was also the same one who was going to save and repay and repair. Have you considered my servant Cola? The one who, no matter the despair, got up and served and prayed. The one who, no matter the attacks upon the body, the panic attacks, the gallbladder attacks, the thoughts of suicide and everything else that was trying to have me self-destructing from the inside. Have you considered my servant Cola? The one who does not run and hide. The one who is exposing the lie within herself. It was a journey to get through this. It was a journey to not want to give up, not want to quit. It was a journey that I had to walk alone for a majority of the part. And yes, God brought some cool people along, but for the most part, I had to make up my mind and decide that I wanted this no matter what. I wanted this for me and that I was going to go after it. It's been interesting because the same way that Job had this back and forth conversation with God, I too was in my journal writing letters to God and just being like, God, what's up? I know a lot of the time we are taught not to question God, but I had questions and I wanted answers. It says in Proverbs 3, verse 5, 6, and 7, trust in the Lord with all thine heart, lean not to own understanding, in all thy ways acknowledge him, and he will direct your path. And so, if I didn't know what path I was on, I needed to ask him because he would direct me, right? That's what the scripture says. And the first thing I needed to know was, how do I stop the bleeding? How do I stop the pain? I can't amputate my brain, and so I need to know how I can get it to stop. How I can get it to be at peace. How I can get it to stop warring with me. How I can get it to stop trying to take me out. I needed it to be in cooperation with me. I needed for it to not be in doubt that this thing will work, because if it failed, then I would perish with it. Have you considered my servant Cola? The one who is smart, the one who is wise beyond her years, the one who has a greater perspective of life, and the one who knows just how important it is to keep pushing, the one who knows how important it is to not give up. I understood that I, at some point, stopped living for myself and I was living for other people. I understood that at some point, my stories and the things that I was speaking, seeking, and going through was going to be the building blocks for another person who just didn't know that the storm was almost over and that they could make it through. I understood that my life was not my own. And I selfishly did not want to hold on to it. Like, I was so clear about that. I understood that my purpose was greater than me, and I was so ready to hand it over to another person and say, here, sharing some of my victories. I've gone through enough misery for the both of us, so let me not share that with you, but take some of the wins, because the wins are glorious wins. Have you considered my servant Cola? The one who knows that I will repay, the one who knows that restoration is coming. The one who knows that on the other side of the rainbow was a pot of gold. And that gold is abundance. That gold is a full heart. That gold is joy. That gold is laughter. That gold is wisdom and making decisions for the future that do not wreck or do not snuff out the dreams and desires that we have. I had chosen to be somebody who people could look up to, who people would see as more than just a story. I had chosen to be greater than my own expectations, because honestly, sometimes I didn't expect a whole lot. I didn't know how to. I was so deep in it that it felt like a hard covering, something that was hard to break through. So I was calling myself Job. I'm like, I didn't lose no oxen, but I sure lost a whole lot. And I did have friends like Job who spoke against me. I did have friends like Job who didn't understand my journey, didn't understand what I was going through. And they spoke only through the perspective that they had. And that's okay. Because how can I expect them to see life differently if they haven't walked in the ways that I've walked or experienced what I've experienced, right? But at the end of the day, I had to choose not to listen to them or be engulfed by their own miseries. I had to choose to walk in the way that I knew God was calling me to walk. I had to do something differently. I had to do something that would restore not just the sadness, but will restore a healthy mindset, that will restore laughter. And if I had to do that by myself, then I would. I was prepared to. I've spent the last 9-10 years pouring into different projects, making sure that love is felt all throughout, and that I wasn't just doing this of my own thought and my own strength. Because one thing I do know is, even though God may have given the green light for things to be taken from Job, God was the same one who restored it double. He gave him back what he lost and then some. And so I knew that whatever had been taken from me, it was only a matter of time before it was doubled, tripled, quadrupled. It was only a matter of time before I experienced greater than I ever could have. And the thing about this was the lessons I learned along the way. It wasn't about the things that were removed. It was about the journey and the process that I went through. It's kind of easy to knock things down, but when you build it back up, you got to think about building. Okay, well, am I going to build this in this way or that way? Am I going to build strategically, or am I going to build in a way where this is not a solid foundation? No, I had to make sure that this time when I built, the things that didn't get fixed the first time got adjusted. The things that didn't get reinforced the first time were now reinforced to the nth degree. Like, I needed to make sure that there was no cracks in the foundation. The identity I had was a woman who was insecure, broken, promiscuous, just didn't have a way forward, was going through life and doing things according to what society thought, but it wasn't actually my own thoughts. It was what I believed that they wanted me to do. And so now I got an opportunity to build back the identity, build back what was lost, build back what had been misaddressed. And I could address it in a way that was positive. I could address it in a way that was nourishing. I could address it in a way that made sense. And so I could address the way I look and work on accepting that. I could address the way I speak and work on loving my voice instead of hating it. I could work on, like I said, my canvas, my lips, and putting all those into play. Like, there were so many things that I was now able to build back because it was broken down. And if I had continued to try to break on the establishment of what I once had, it would have crumbled eventually. But it might have crumbled at the wrong time. At least now, in the very beginning, before too many people even know who I am, and before things are public, I get the opportunity to build and rebuild and to adjust and to fix and to get it to where it needs to be so that when God presses go, I accelerate with ease. Sometimes we don't see the beauty in the breaking down. Sometimes it's hard to find the beauty in the ashes, but as it is being put back together again, all those little details make sense. They're needed. So all the ways in which I tried to be different, I tried to be normal, those were no longer serving a purpose here, and I had to move on and build a life worth living. And so I'm excited for the fact that my Job season has come to an end. I am nearing the recompense part. I am nearing the end where I pray for my enemies. I pray for the people who despitefully use me. I pray for the people who spoke against my name. I pray for the people who called me out and called me things that they shouldn't have, things that just don't fit, things that are untrue. I pray for the people who just didn't understand what they were doing when they tried to put their mouth on me. I pray for them because I would never want them to go through the same Job season that I'm going through. I would never want them to experience really low lows. I want them to know that they have the victory. I want them to know that the God in which they play hide and seek with, they don't have to play that anymore. I want them to know that He is a good God, that He is a God that, yes, He said, have you considered my servant Kola? But the truth is, He said that because He knew I could handle it. He knew that it wouldn't break me. He knew that it wouldn't snap me. Now, I didn't know this. I thought, no, this crazy. Like, there's no way that God really thinks I can handle all this. But you know what? He knows it all. And at the end of the day, I made it through. I made it through. I did not succumb to what was in front of me. I made it through. And I showed that it is possible to do something completely unseen, completely unrealistic, completely that just doesn't make sense. It is possible to live a life other than being in a Job season. And honestly, that's what the Bible's for. It's to show us that these people lived this life and they survived. And so if they survived, that means that there's a possibility. So, have you considered my daughter, Kola? The one whom God loves. The one whom He created specifically for this platform. That He knew I'd be here speaking. I'd be here wanting to do more with the life that He gave me. I'd be here unafraid and unashamed to live boldly and proudly for Him. I am glad He considered me. Hey, thank you so much for listening to the Lips and Language podcast. My name is Kola. I am so excited that you are here. If anything I said today resonated, then get in touch with me. I have an amazing mentorship program. It is for those who feel misunderstood, overwhelmed, going through grief. It is truly an amazing time. If you want more info, hit my website, lipsandlanguage.com. And if you want to get in touch with me, you can hit it up on the website or DM me. I have a free gift for you, and I would love to be in contact with you. Whatever you decide, just know that healing, it looks good on you. And I'm so excited that we get to do this journey together. Have a blessed day. And if nobody told you, I will. I love you. Enjoy your day, and we'll talk soon. Peace.